Hello again, and welcome to the St. Louis Blues Hockey Legends Podcast. Tom Calhoun here to shine a light on the stories of those instrumental in blues history. The Blues Legends Podcast is presented by Sarah Honda, O'Fallon, Illinois. Check out their 618 Sarah Bucks offer at sarahhondaofallon.com. The magical 2019 Stanley Cup run for the Blues contained many improbable stories. One of those side stories was the unofficial mascot adopted by the players on that team, a little girl battling a life-threatening condition called HLH. Laila Anderson was prominent as an inspiration all along the way. Now, some 7 years later, she's a high school senior and playing hockey herself. On this episode, we catch up with Laila and her father, Scott, as we revisit the happy and challenging times in 2019, and get an update from a very smart young St. Louisan who will always be connected to our first Stanley Cup run. Stay tuned as we talk it over with Laila and Scott Anderson in 60 seconds.
When it's time to find your next car, what's changed in your life? What's driving you to start the process? What are you really looking for? These are the questions we're asking at Sarah Honda. We believe in real communication, real problem solving, and trustworthy long-term relationships with our customers. We're part of your community, and we want you to be part of ours. At Sarah Honda, the experience drives everything. You've got a lot going on in life, and you depend on your car to get you to places you need to be. So when it's time for maintenance or repair, we know you need it done fast and done right. Convenience and quality customer service with team members you can trust. That's what you're looking for. We'll get you safely back on the road and back to your busy life. At Sarah Honda, the experience drives everything.
And on this episode of the Blues Legends Podcast, we are thrilled to have one of our 2019 Stanley Cup legends, of course. Laila Anderson is with us, and so is her papa, Scott. Folks, welcome to the Blues Legends Podcast. Congratulations on being my next legend.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, it's been a while since that magical run in 2019, and we'll talk about that here in just a bit. But I want to set the stage a little bit with some personal stuff, if you don't mind. Have you guys always lived in St. Louis? Are you St. Louisans through and through?
I was born in Minnesota, born and raised in Minnesota, and then relocated to St. Louis in 2004, 2005. So then Laila was born in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, my mom's from Missouri, so dad relocated here for my mom, and then I've always lived here.
Yeah,
good deal. Yeah, we are happy to have you as St. Louisans, no matter how that all developed.
yeah.
So, Laila, you're going to high school now. Which high school, and how's that going?
It's great. I'm really enjoying my senior year, which is crazy to say, but I am at Westminster Christian Academy, and I love it. It's awesome. I have so many friends, and it's great. It's awesome. I feel like I've really deserved a fun senior year. I've earned it, and I'm excited. It's great.
And as a senior, you might have already picked out a college. Do you have any college plans?
Yes, I am going to Maryville University in the fall, and I'm super excited.
Staying right here in town, huh?
Yes, absolutely. I knew I didn't want to leave the state, and then I play hockey, so one of my home rinks is Maryville out in Chesterfield. So I've always been around it, and I toured the campus. I loved it, and here I am.
So I know we've heard that you're playing hockey. Tell us how that is going, and is that part of the college experience that you expect, or is that all worked out?
Oh, hockey is amazing. I've made so many friends through hockey, but most importantly, it's really a place where I can escape, Practice is just like, no matter what happens in school or personal stuff, whatever's happening, when I step out on the ice, that all just leaves my mind, and it's awesome. But College and hockey, I'm not really sure yet. I want to be a part of the program, the hockey program in Maryville somehow, whether that be on the ice or helping out with the guys' teams or working on their social media. I'm not entirely sure what all that entails yet, but I definitely want to be a part of it somehow.
So Layla plays in the CGHL league, and it's out of where's it out of?
So it stands for like the Central Girls Hockey League. So we play in Tennessee, Illinois. Is there another state?
Ohio.
Ohio, and then here. So we travel once a month and we play 4 games in one weekend. So it's a lot, but it's fun.
Two on a
it's really
Saturday,
good.
two on a Sunday. Yeah.
So, how many games have you played this season so far?
Oh God,
Ballpark?
Probably 8.
8, yeah.
8 or so, maybe a little more with some friendlies too. The Cyclones out of Centene, they have a team in that league as well. So they try to do some friendlies with them since they're local.
Hmm. And so 8 games or in a few more, maybe, you should probably have 20 or 25 goals by now.
Well, this season I got 1, but they didn't count it because it bounced off my back. So it's okay.
So, what position?
I play forward. I like right side. I like the right wing.
Right wing? Right hand shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was too when I played way back in the day. Way back in the day. But we'll let that alone. So, most Blues fans are familiar with your story from 2019, I think, and so we won't get into that. But it was certainly a magical time, and at that time you were dealing with the effects of, let me see if I can pronounce this right, hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis. Am I in the ballpark?
You're close.
HLH for short. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
An immune disorder that can trigger a fatal inflammatory syndrome. I'm reading this, of course. Now, if you're listening and want more information about this disease, you can Google it and find out how serious it can be. It's a very rare condition. Am I right?
Yeah. At the time, there was about 12 known cases in the world with Layla's. She had isolated HLH, so hers was isolated in her brain. So her immune system was attacking herself in her brain, so she'd swelling there. So it was hard to diagnose. So that's why it took 16 months to diagnose. And at the time, it was rare. And in the 6 years, they've advanced some treatments and advanced some signs on how to look for HLH and isolated HLH. So it's not necessarily taking 16 months anymore. Because
Yeah.
if it goes longer than 16 months, the outcome isn't great. So that's why maybe there was only 12 because they caught it. And if they don't catch it, they can't register it.
So, what were the first signs that there was a problem?
Yeah. So from what I can recall, it was like I had the flu for a while. So I would throw up and then it was almost like I was like drunk essentially because it's like I would lose feeling in my limbs, like my fingers would go numb, then my toes would go numb, and then my arms, then my legs. And then I would lose the ability to talk. So I would like just struggle to say the words mom. And I remember like the biggest moment is, so my parents are divorced, right? So when I was in elementary school, if I was at dad's house, right? So I would go from my dad's house and then go to my mom's at the bus stop. So dad was bringing me to the bus stop at mom's and I opened his car door and I completely fell out of the car. Like I completely collapsed.
Hmm.
And then that was a big moment for us. That was scary.
Because she couldn't talk. She was repeating her words over and over and her limbs went rigid, almost like Frankenstein walked like. And so she couldn't hold a conversation. She couldn't focus. So I thought since we thought she was dehydrated because of the flu, the sun, I don't know. I drive over to McDonald's thinking that she needed orange juice or something, or just trying to get liquids in her or fluids, and that wasn't working. And then in the meantime, we're calling Layla's doctor and saying, what's going on? And then they're like, no, you need to go to the hospital right now.
Yeah, and from what I read, and I hope this is right, the immune system was attacking your brain, right, Layla? And that was the hard part of diagnosing all this stuff.
Yeah, so I've learned about it now, so I think I can explain it. So essentially, HLH is like an umbrella term. So HLH itself is super rare. So normally, like your immune system, if you have like traditional HLH, your immune system would attack your organs, like your livers, your kidneys, etc. But mine was only neurological. So my immune system, it turned on in response to fighting infections, but it didn't turn off. So therefore, my immune system was trying to kill my brain. So that's why I was slowly like losing it neurologically. And that's why it was so hard to get a diagnosis, because it's all neurological, right? So I remember I had like an enlarged size of my spleen, like brain swelling and all of that. But what gave us the diagnosis was a simple blood test.
Well, it was this. The spleen put it down a different path because that wasn't normal for what they were testing for. Because they gave us a list and each name was scarier than the next. They said, okay, you could have vasculitis, you could have, I forget what this other one,
leukemia.
Well, it was something, then vasculitis, and then the scary one was leukemia. But then Layla hers was more rare than those and scarier when we got diagnosed. And then so she had a brain biopsy where they went in and tested her brain, and then that came back negative for anything. So everything that they tested for was not what she had, it's what she didn't have. So they had to go down a whole list of things. And then the enlarged spleen did not correlate with vasculitis or leukemia or these other things. And then when they found that 16 months later, then that triggered, the blood work for the family path of, testing her mom and I for a rare blood.
Mm-hmm. Well,
rare blood disorder.
Thankfully, there were doctors locally who wouldn't give up on diagnosing that situation, right? You have some heroes at St. Louis Children's Hospital, right?
Absolutely.
So who are those people?
Well, I mean, all of the nurses, the nurses are incredible. I had my chemotherapy days every Wednesday. So I was there for, I think it was like 10 weeks or so. And I mean, everyone there is just not so much worried about the patient, but they're always worried about the family too. And then they really make sure that no matter how old the patient is, that they understand from like a child perspective what they're going through, to make sure that they're on the same page and everything. But
Dr. Warren,
my doctors, Dr. Warren, she was an on-call doctor at the time, but she actually found out that I had HLH. She was the one that requested the blood test and was able to pinpoint that I had CNS HLH. And then Dr. Bonarski, he was my peds hematologist oncologist and did my
bone marrow
transplant and my treatment leading up to that. Just, I mean, every single person that has had just a little impact in my life, whether that be an x-ray they gave me a year ago or an MRI, it's just anybody at St. Louis Children's Hospital, anybody and everybody is just incredible.
Yeah,
I'll go above and beyond.
Yeah, Children's Hospital, it was a blessing that we have it in our town, in our city, and we were able to go there and stay there. Sometimes with HLH, you'd have to, otherwise, if Children's Hospital wasn't able to treat her, then Laila would have to go to Cincinnati. So there's some people who you have to relocate and move. So we had a blessing that Children's Hospital was able to do all that.
Yeah, it's a great resource that we have in our community. So let's move down the road just a little bit. Now you're a spokesperson for NMDP, Laila, National Bone Marrow Donor Program, formerly Be the Match, which became familiar with because of your story back then, and doing TV spots for Children's Hospital too. So you that little bit of celebrity that you've gotten has helped you pay back, right?
Yeah, it's been incredible. It's really fun, but I have the opportunity. I am, like you mentioned, I work with the NMDP, St. Louis Children's Hospital. I'm also on the junior board for Make a Wish. So we kind of do what the adults do in fundraising and then wish reveals, but we're all high school students. So there's a group of teenagers who are on the junior board. Yeah, we have a pickleball tournament coming up,
Mhm.
which has been pretty fun to be able to help with that. And then I help, I say I help, Colton does a lot. Colton Pareko in Project 55 is incredible. I've been able to attend his golf tournaments, and it's incredible. I know I want to work in nonprofit when I get outside of high school and college. And it's cool to kind of dip my toe in all of these areas and see where things go.
Scott, that whole experience with Layla's HLH had to be a terrifically frightening experience for a parent. I don't know that you can express how frightening, but from a financial standpoint, it had to be a nightmare too. Is that all in the rearview mirror now? Can you put that all behind you?
Well, we can't put the experience and the yearly testing that we do for blood work to make sure that the HLH is not coming back. The financial stuff, yes, that's all in the past, and that's all taken care of, and all that. It's just we do yearly testing now, and we like to. The way we explain it to people is with the HLH and the bone marrow transplant. The bone marrow is like a computer. You got brand new bone marrow, and it rebooted the system. So it's all. So technically, she doesn't have HLH anymore, but there is always that underlining thing. Could her old bone marrow start growing back and overpower the new stuff? So that's what you don't want to happen. So we do, we're pretty good emotional wise for about 11 months out of the year. And then when you start getting close to a brain MRI and the blood work, then we start getting nervous again. And then things go well, that everything's normal, then we breathe again. So
So it's
that,
never going to be really ever behind you totally. Is that what you're saying?
well, now I think if we're doing yearly or every other year, when Layla hits we can test every 5 years, then you breathe a little bit more. And then after that, it could be, every 10 years, and then you breathe a little bit more as well. So yeah, it's always in the back of your mind.
I mean, I think from both a positive and negative standpoint, our lives were, I mean, forever changed. I mean, every single person in my family, none of us are who we were before my diagnosis. I mean, our whole world turned upside down, and there's no way we can ever go back to who we were.
Yeah, it's before transplant, Layla.
Yeah.
After transplant, Layla.
Yeah, that's how it is. A lot of people think before COVID, after. Nope.
Yeah.
I saw the transplant referred to as your second birthday. So I guess that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So is it January 24th?
January 24th?
Yeah, January 24th, which is Donor Awareness Day at the Blues game.
Transplant
awareness game. But
Mm.
that's Layla's 7th rebirthday is January 24th. So.
Well, you're going to have to come on that night up to the press box and do some public address announcing for the starting lineups or something. Don't you think we can work that out?
That'd be awesome. We had a friend from Minnesota who bought a suite from Colton's charity at the Project 55 golf tournament. So we normally wouldn't have it. We have our normal seats, but that game he bought a suite, so we are going to have a suite that game on the 24th.
Great.
Well, let me talk to some people about that PA idea. We'll see if we can work that out. So I always tell people when the subject of Layla comes up in conversation, Scott, that she has an old soul and presents herself in such a professional and well-spoken way. You've obviously done a great job, you and Heather, bringing her up. And who gets credit for all that, do you think?
Um, Layla, no, I don't say nobody gets credit. I mean, if you ask me, I would say I'll take credit. Heather would say she takes credit, but Layla has always been an old soul. When she was 5, you thought she was um 8. You know, she was always acted older than what she was, and it could be a tribute to Heather and I because we never did like baby talk, or when she was an infant we say, use your words, express yourself, tell us what you want. And maybe that was it, but she's always seemed older than what she was.
I think I
It
read
didn't work.
something.
It wasn't great when we'd go to a buffet and I want to get Layla at the child rate, and she's like, no dad, I'm this age.
I think I read somewhere where there was a grandpa who was kind of involved with that upbringing too, right?
Oh, my grandpa is incredible. He's been a rock in a lot of this, but he's always been by my side. And then coming out of all of this, he's just really supportive with my idea of giving back. No matter what organization I want to raise money for, or no matter what idea I kind of present him with, he's always for it. He sorry, I'm getting emotional. He's just really supportive. Yeah, with like Project 55, he's always there to help, lend a helping hand, or even just a new idea to like Colton. So it goes beyond me, but it's incredible to be so supported by my family and have so much trust in me. Like I think it's hard for us to remember that I'm only 17. Like I feel like I'm doing a lot with school and charity work, and then balancing my own life, like hockey and friends. But it's awesome to be so supported and know that even if all of this, I do somehow crumble and fall, that I'm gonna have someone there to pick me back up. And that's my mom, my dad, my grandpa, even my dad's mom, my grandma. It's just I've got so many people in my corner, and I'm so blessed.
A lot of other people wearing a blue note on that team too, I'd say. Uh,
Yeah.
so let's go back down memory lane a little bit and remember some of the wonderful times we had back in 2019. How did the relationship with the Blues players get off the ground? Did a group of people come visit you in the hospital, or how did that all get started?
Uh, I'll, I'll do the short version. Well, do the okay.
Okay. So like Dad was saying earlier, instead of finding out the diagnosis I had, we had to find out what I didn't have. So part of that was a brain biopsy. So when I was 10, I was really skinny. I had long blonde hair, and suddenly I had what was it, like 54 stitches in the side of my head, a big like bald spot, and I felt hideous. Anytime I looked in the mirror, it didn't feel like I was looking at myself. And my mom, she used to work at Annie Gunn's out in Chesterfield. So I grew up with a lot of Blues alumni, Kelly Chase, Al McKennis. So my mom called up the toughest guy she knew, Kelly Chase. So Kelly came to the hospital and just told me I was a part of the tough guy club. He said that my scars are what make me strong. And when he came to the hospital, he brought Steiner with him, and they just gave me the courage and motivation I needed. And then they stuck by my side. Steiner introduced me to the team, and the rest is history.
Mhm.
What I was going to add to that,
Yeah.
which Layla forgets about at times, is prior to all that, we don't do it this year as much as we used to, but prior to all that, we would go to the games at 5:15. We'd go in before, when season ticket holders could go in. We'd go in, we'd go down to the tunnel, we'd sit there for an hour and a half, and then when the players come out, they'd knuckle the players and things like that. So prior to Layla getting sick, one year she wore, because I think when that year, if the Blues scored 4 or 5 or more goals, you got free tacos. So everyone would chant, "We want tacos." So
I remember that.
We went to a Halloween game as Taco Girl. So prior to Layla being who she is, like Layla, for a while they'd call her Taco Girl because they saw her with their taco outfit on, and then knowing her at the game and knuckling it. And then when she got sick, the next year, we we would go to games, not go to games, and then they had the trick or treat thing where Layla mentioned where she met Colton and met everybody. She wore her taco outfit, and then like Bortuzzo and some other people put it in their head, oh, that's the girl from the previous year that we knew as Taco Girl. She's sick, and then you add into that event to Kelly and Steve coming to meet Layla at the hospital. Till a month later or a couple weeks later, they're doing a bone marrow drive at Enterprise Center for Layla, using the picture with Steen and Kelly, and then it clicking into other players' heads. Oh, that was the girl that we saw at the tunnel. Layla, she's sick. And so it kind of all snowballed together and meshed into the story that it is. It just kind of just grew from Layla's love of the game and the players, and then bringing recognition of her disease.
Well, there's one more story I kind of want to mention. So, Dad and I, we grew up going to games like all the time. I vividly remember Dad and I would stay at like a hotel, and then we would go to Ballpark Village and like hang out before the hockey game and take a shuttle over to Scott Trade at the time. So I literally grew up at the Enterprise Center, and we used to go to like autograph signings all the time when I was like 9. There's a photo. I went to Colton Parayko's rookie autograph signing. So there's just, I was in like my little Blues jersey. He signed a hat and a puck for me, but like, who knew that he would be one of like my best friends? You know, that's just such an incredible like full circle moment.
Yeah, it was during the game, and they announced it. I think, season ticket holders,
Yeah.
Such and such mystery player will come, and then we went and bought a hat and a puck, and then it was Colton, which was our favorite player. I think it was his rookie year.
Yeah.
And so, it's great when Layla shows Colton that picture. It's a nice reminder of where things started for them.
I'll bet. And it's not surprising to me that Chaser was involved from the beginning and kind of helped get things going there. And now we're all pulling for him, of course, in his battles with leukemia. So on we go. Let's talk about the magical run that it was, that 2019 Stanley Cup run. We all saw the video where Heather, your mom, told you that the doctors cleared you to go to one of the playoff games, and you got so excited that you cried. And pretty amazing and touching for all of us who bleed blue, that particular moment. And I'll just let it go with that. You don't have to react to that one. But um, could you appreciate at the time how this whole story unfolded back in 2019? I mean, Layla
Well,
being sort of the magical mascot of the team during that time.
well, it was awesome. But when Layla was in the hospital, the Blues game, we always wanted to know when the Blues are on. So like every other day, every couple of days, it gave Layla something to look forward to. Tonight we're gonna rest. You're gonna do what you can. We're gonna watch the Blues game. And so we had season tickets. And then I remember one time the Blues were playing the Wild or whatever. Layla was in the hospital, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, do you mind if I go?" So my tickets don't. She's like, "No, Dad, go to the game. I'll come back." I went to the game. It was horrible. What? Like, I left the hospital. I met my friend at the game, and I had the worst time because I just needed to leave to go back to the hospital. So then, like, I made the decision. Then I was like, I'm not buying, because then then they're like, well, playoff tickets. I go, I'm not ordering playoff tickets. I'm not doing it because if Layla can't go, I'm not going because it was horrible. I just, it's such a passion for us, and then to like be there, and then it's hard to explain. So, then when Layla was better, and then the doctors were given the okay to go, and how happy she was and excited. I was ecstatic for her. It was, you could see the happiness in her face to get out of the house and then go to a hockey game.
Yeah, it was just pretty amazing. And, you know, seeing you on the ice at TD Garden in Boston, and Colton brings the cup over to you. What was going through your mind at that time? I mean, it was so special for all of us watching on television to see that moment.
It was crazy. I remember mom and I, we were in the alumni suite, and then some escort came in. He's like grabbing all of us. He's like, all right, let's go. We got to go down to the ice. And I'm just like on cloud nine. And we get out, and like we're all rushing. And
Yeah,
then
your broken foot.
yeah, I had a broken foot at the time. So
Oh,
we're all rushing, and then we all just like stop at an elevator, and we're waiting. And I was like, what are we doing, guys? And the escort's like, well, you have a broken foot. I was like, okay. And we just won the Stanley Cup. Let's go, guys. So then we,
I think Bobby was with you too.
yeah, it was great. And then we went out. So we took the escalator down, and we get on the ice, and it was pandemonium. I mean, so many lights and cameras. But then, like, oh, it's crazy. Like, players started dropping their interviews to come say hi to me. I remember Steiner was in the middle of an interview, and then he saw me and just goes, "Excuse me," and then just like went and hugged me, asked how my mom was doing. And then, oh, I'm literally getting goosebumps. Oh, and then Colton like hugged me. I thought my Broviac in my chest was gonna rip out, but it didn't even matter because I was in Boston. So it's just, it was such a special moment. And then I remember my mom was in the back, like, "Can I get a picture of my daughter?" And then someone was like, "Heather, I think someone's recording it." It's just, it was really special. And just to have all of those players look me in the eyes and just say, like, "We're so happy to share this moment with you." It is crazy. I was like, I'm a sick 11-year-old girl, and to hear those words from my idols was the medicine I needed.
yeah, pretty strong medicine too.
Yeah.
So, Layla, I read that your image is on the Stanley Cup rings. Am I right about that? I've got one right here, as a matter of fact, that I was given. Are you on here somewhere?
So you know how there's like branches to the Stanley Cup ring? The highest one, so the one that the players have, my name is engraved on the inside of their band.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay, I was looking like crazy for you on here.
Yeah.
I couldn't find you. Yeah,
Yeah.
just so people know, there were different versions of the Stanley Cup ring, and I guess you got the big players version probably, Layla, and I've got the scaled down version that some of us employees got, I think. So, but I'm still thrilled to have it, of
A
course.
ring's a ring, yeah.
A ring is a ring, and it's it's got a special place down at Tom's Bar for sure. And part of your celebrity and fundraising back in those days is this autographed card that I think Layla signed for me at one time. This is an actual Topps hockey card, right? That was out at the time.
There you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but yeah, no.
Oh, it's in the background. Yeah. So every year Upper Deck makes a heroic
Oh,
inspiration.
it's Upper Deck, not
Yeah,
Tops. My bad.
yeah. No, you're good. So I was the heroic inspiration for 2019. So we had, do you know how many cards were made?
We got
We
2,000.
got 2,000. Okay.
For
Yes.
those watching on YouTube, I'm holding it up to the camera right now. For
Yeah.
those not
Yeah.
watching on YouTube, it's a pretty cool card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I give those out to some people, but I've also fundraised those before. So it doesn't always feel great to just ask people for money. So sometimes you have to get creative with how you want to do it. So I sold bracelets before. Colton has collaborated with me on those cards where we each signed a few of them, and we were able to sell those. So it's been super cool. It's sometimes I don't even realize
I'd say
how
donate
crazy
to
it
a
is.
charity, not necessarily
Yeah.
sell.
Sure, like fundraising
Yeah,
is what I mean.
fundraise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they introduced it at the All-Star
Right,
game
yeah.
in St. Louis is when they debuted the card for Layla.
Hmm.
So that would have been January of 2020 or
Mhm.
February, and then COVID hit right after that.
Well, when I first started doing cameos several years ago, your story was prominent at the time, and I remember collaborating with my friend Jeff Kowarski, Jeff K, he's called, down in Dallas, and we did a kind of a challenge fundraiser thing, and we did pretty good with that one. And Be the Match now and MDP um, did pretty well on that one, and I'm always happy to try to help out with that if I can do that. Now, I read also that yeah, I heard you're going to Maryville. Does that fall into your original plan of being a pediatric neurosurgeon?
Oh, so I knew I always wanted to work in the medical field. So after I got a brain biopsy, I was fascinated with that kind of stuff. So that's where my 9-year-old mind went. And then after I got my chemo and for a while, I wanted to be a nurse, and I really wanted to work in peds hemoc. And then after I've been able to kind of dip my toe in the nonprofit world, I feel like I'd get too emotionally attached if I were to work in like a hospital setting. And I don't think that would be great for me, but also not great for like the work I produce. So I would much rather see a child at their best than at their worst. So I received my Make-A-Wish in November of 24, and that was like a big eye opener for me. I had so many kids I hosted some patients from St. Louis Children's Hospital to a Blues game day experience, and that was really eye-opening. I was able to see so many kids who were, whether they were fighting cancer or no matter what they were doing, they were all just so happy. And I think that's what I want to focus on. I'd rather, like I said, see a child at their best than at their worst. And I think that's where I'll shine most.
Because those parents had a different experience than I did when I went to the game, because I went by myself. But with Laila giving back, it was able to see the parents with the siblings and someone who's going through something horrible have a day or a night that everybody got to just enjoy themselves. And that Laila just opened her eyes up to wanting to give back and help others.
Yeah, well, that's an amazing attitude, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So, I also see where you're going to be inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you.
I wish I could be there for you that night. There are some extenuating circumstances on that, but um, congratulations. I know Pat Maroon's going in as well, so you'll have a buddy there.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I have some of my teachers bought a table, so I'm gonna have some friends and some teachers there. But I mean, it's crazy that Pat Maroon and I are gonna be in the same class. Just something about that just doesn't feel right. But it's like graduating high school in 2026, inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame in 2026. What a year!
But it's an honor.
But it's yeah, it's an honor. I don't even think I've let myself go there yet because I've been truly so busy this past month. But I'm excited. It's such an honor. Yeah.
Well, it is an honor, and somebody thought I should be in there several years ago too. So I'm still grateful for that. But uh, don't go away. I'm going to do something that is attached to another podcast that I'll have a little bit later on down. We call it the bonus round. But let me thank you, first of all, both of you, for spending some time with me on this podcast. Is there anything you'd like to say to Blues Nation or promote anything before we hang up today?
I'm good. Got my Make-A-Wish plug.
No, he just wants to, as Laila continues to inspire myself and her family daily. So if she can continue to inspire others to share her story and help, tell her story of the past, then that's all we can ask for. That's, and then with her work with Ronald McDonald House and St. Children's Hospital and MDP, it's just sharing her story, giving back, whatever we can do to help others in our situation. That's what Laila's here to do.
Let's call it there, and thank you so much for sharing some of this behind the scenes stuff with me and our listeners on this podcast. And all the best to both of you going forward. And if you are up for it, I'll see if I can work out some PA announcing for you at that bone marrow transplant game. What do you think?
That'd be incredible.
Tom, we can't thank you enough for the love and support that you've shown us over the years, and the access and everything that you've done for us. We're always grateful for our friendship as well.
Absolutely.
No, right back at you. It's been great. Thanks for being with me for another episode of the St. Louis Blues Hockey Legends Podcast. We'll have another legend coming up soon, so stay tuned to our social media for news on who that legend might be. Visit paguytom.com or blueshockeylegends.com and sign up for our Legends email notifications. The Legends Podcast is also available on the Scoops Sports Network at scoopswithdannymac.com. Video of the podcast is published the Monday after the Friday release of the audio. As always, please like and share on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It all keeps the Legends Podcast alive and well. Tom Calhoun here saying thanks for being a fan, and let's go Blues!